Silver has found support so far. Will it hold? That is the question. Let's take a look at silver, then gold, then platinum as well. Click one of the time codes below to go to your favorite metal. Of course, this is brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold Silver Standard. My name's Joe. You're looking at silver here on the weekly time frame. It's priced in US dollars, currently 24 US dollars. I'm using the tradingview.com website. Pop on the indicators. As you can see very clearly, it has held so far. In our video from last week, which was entitled Will Platinum Pop This Time, we did talk about silver right at the end, and we were talking about the fact that if we go in as close as we possibly can, we were knocking on the door of $26. You can see right here, if you can see that. And I was talking about the fact that when you do break out of a big pattern like this symmetrical triangle pattern, and you do break out, you do tend to revisit it. It doesn't always happen, but it's a pretty reasonable case to be made that it does revisit this trend line at some point. So I was suggesting that that might quite possibly happen, and because we did have a little bit of a, looks like a double top in the resistance of $26, that it was more likely than not. We have seen that happen in the last week. So just in the last week, you can see that resistance there at 26, very, very firm resistance at 26. And what do you know? It is so far, it has held, but it's right bang on the money right there. Let's pop into the daily time frame. So let's take a look. Look at that, really, really clean support level on that downtrend line right there. And I said back in the other video, it would be around about your 23.75, 23.80 US dollar level. And what on this particular index, it's 23.78 something. So right on the money. So far, will it hold? That is the question. Don't know just yet. We are in the next day. So it's Tuesday, the 16th of May, 2023. So the day has opened, and it is a red candle day so far. Maybe pop on the 4 hour, have a quick look. It's not, we're not safe yet. I would say we're not safe just yet. The more times if we hit this downtrend line, the more likely it is to be taken out. So let's just play the what if game just a second. If we do continue to see a green day, we really need to hold this downtrend line. If we do break down through there, then the next level you're looking at, I would suggest, actually you've got now, I'll put this little extra box in here. Actually, I will do that right now. Let me just see if I can find the rectangle box right there. You've got to see this area of consolidation right here. You do have this area. Now we've already come down past that. So it'll be the bottom of this triangle roughly, yeah, look roughly here. That's quite a wide range, isn't it? I might have to tighten that up just a little bit. I would say around about there. So we're in this kind of range at the moment. So let's say you might find a support level at around about $23.20, but breaking down through $23.20, then you'd be looking at this purple box, this range right here, somewhere between that $22 and $22.50 range, if we do indeed break back down into this symmetrical triangle pattern. Doesn't mean it's doomsday for silver, but it just means that we would have to find support. You'd want to find support within this symmetrical triangle pattern. If we're coming anywhere down here, then I'm going to say it doesn't look great. But for now, I want to see it hold, definitely hold above this downtrend line right here, but definitely hold above, I'd say, $23.20 US cents. So let's see what happens in the next week or so, and we'll do another technical analysis next week. I'm going to keep this one very short and sharp, this technical analysis. If we do break above, if this does hold and we break higher, it's just, again, it's going to be that $26 level. Third time's probably going to be a charm. So, you know, double tops are very likely. Triple tops can happen, but more sort of less likely. So if we do come up to this area again, sort of your 25.60, 25.70 level, I'd suggest 26 would probably be taken out. Although do bear in mind, as we've been speaking about for a very long time, the $26 level is a really huge one. There, and there, and then failed attempts there. That's the short version to all the newcomers to the channel, and welcome to all the new subscribers. That is silver, short and sharp. got to hold this trend line, and then you've got those levels right there. So that is silver. Let's take a quick look at gold, and then we'll do platinum at the end. So this is gold on the weekly time frame. We are currently above and holding above so far this purple box area right here. We've so far held it as support in the last week or so. So we've held support of that psychological $2,000 level. So the psychological value of 2,000, we've held above it last week. We did not break below. It closed above 2,000. So far we are above 2,000 in this week starting, or the week has just pretty much started. That is what's pretty much all I have to say for gold. Let's take a look at the daily time frame. I didn't look at the relative strength index on silver. Let me just go back to that. Sorry. Relative strength index on silver. We are getting towards oversold territory, so do keep that in mind. We had a big dip there. We're moving towards oversold, but we haven't hit there yet. So there is room to move down. There is room to move back down here, and then maybe find support on the relative strength index around that sort of 2320 level. Anyway, but relative strength index for gold, as you can see, went from oversold to overbought back here. Spent a little bit more time. Made a sort of a higher high at 2,080 US dollars. It's I will stick with it won't be a triple top. So I'll stick with higher prices coming in the next week and few months. I'll stick with that for the moment, mainly because we have yet to break down in the relative strength index below the halfway point of 50 right there. So we haven't broken below there, has acted as support so far. And the fact that 2,000 US dollars, the psychological value, has maintained a level of support since breaking up out of it on the 2nd of May. So it's been a couple of weeks already above the 2,000 US dollar level. So looking good so far. Definitely want to hold that psychological $2,000 value. Breaking below 2,000, we're going to come back down. I would suggest if we come back down through 2,000, we're probably going to test the downtrend line like we did in silver. Let's take a look at the weekly. Yeah, if we break through 2,000, I'm going to suggest we're going to have a test of this downtrend line. Sounds controversial, but it's quite possible. Would that be a full-on triple top? That means we're just heading way, way, way down from here? No, I would suggest that, coming back down here is a healthy retracement. Do note that we have done that already on the weekly time frame though. But if you take a look at the monthly, we have not done that, but with the relative strength index ticking up on the monthly time frame, all signs for me personally, could be wrong, point to higher prices for gold in the next few weeks and few months coming. I don't think this is the ultimate sort of triple top and then we're just way down here for the next few months. I'm still bullish for gold in the next few weeks and few months, so I will keep it at that. The resistance point of 2120 to 2130 is still in play for me, around about this kind of area. This uptrend line just depends on when it hits, and you've got some targets moving higher, and you've got my little targets moving lower if this is a triple top and we head down, and particularly if we break down this downtrend line. That would be my first support level, as I mentioned before. Depends when it hits. Let's say we had a huge red month in June and we just sank all the way in June. Well, you'd be looking at around about your $1,920 level is where I think it would bottom out at, coinciding, interestingly, with this high back in June of 2021. So 1920 would be your lowest, in my humble opinion. Breaking down from there, we won't talk about that. That's I don't want to think about it. So that is gold on the weekly, the monthly, the daily. Got to hold above the psychological value of $2,000. And finally, let's take a look at my old friend platinum. Very interesting too. Will platinum pop this time? Let's go back to here. And we had been talking about the fact, now if we pop that in, if you can see that right here on the weekly time frame, we popped above these two, and it's still looking good so far. We're not, we're out of the woods so far. It popped above this long-term downtrend line. It popped above this intermediate downtrend line on the weekly time frame, topped out at 1,120.30 roughly, and then we had a perfect retest of this downtrend line, and then it looked like it was ticking upwards. But what we saw in the last week, if you have a look, that's that move right there. So it looks a bit double toppy, for want of a different technical term. We did close the week down, but we have opened the week up so far. So I'm going to say looking healthy still so far for platinum. And if you check out, and I'll put a link below to our news article just today about the huge platinum deficits in the supply of it. Look, it's looking good in the longer term, but we just really need to have this downtrend line in particular hold. So I'll keep my bullish momentum for platinum. If you look on the weekly, we haven't gone into extremely overbought territory yet. We are ticking up, a little bit of a dip, but that's okay. It's quite natural. So you could very easily see platinum on the relative strength index on the weekly time frame head into overbought territory for a while, and then eventually it will head back down. But you could easily see this next support, the next resistance level around about 1,200 be hit before we had a bit of a retracement. Let's pop on the monthly. And on the monthly, I mean, you can see that very clear support level of that downtrend line. On the monthly, it looks like we're still ticking up on the monthly and the relative strength index. So my short answer is I will remain positive for now, so long as we remain above this downtrend line, and in particular this very long-term downtrend line going back to February of 2008. Anything above that, I will remain positive for platinum. Below there, it's a different story. So that is silver, gold, and platinum. What I'd love you to do is subscribe to the channel for the weekly technical analysis, our Tuesday live shows at 10:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about a whole bunch of different topics, some show and tell, some live question and answers, etc. So you know what I want you to do is like, share, and subscribe. Balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care, and we'll see you next week.